Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are on a lesson 11.9, Same Perimeter, Different Areas, on page 675 in your math book. As we've been talking about, we really need to know the difference between perimeter and area and how we find each of those things, as that will really pay off in today's lesson. Perimeter, the distance all the way around an object. We find that by adding up all the lengths of the sides of the object. Area, the space inside the object, and if it's a rectangle, we just multiply the length times the width. So our essential question today, how can you use area to compare rectangles with the same perimeter? So we're going to have rectangles with the same perimeter, that's the distance all the way around, but they're going to have different areas, and we'll see how that works. Let's look at unlock the problem. Toby has 12 feet of boards to put around a rectangular sandbox. So if we're going around the sandbox, that's going to be the perimeter. How long should he make each side so that the area of the sandbox is as large as possible? We want the area, the space inside, as big as we can get it, with a perimeter of 12, though. Okay. What is the greatest perimeter Toby can make for his sandbox? Well, they tell us right here, he has 12 feet of boards, so the greatest perimeter, 12 feet. Okay. Use, excuse me, I have kind of a cold today, so excuse my voice a little bit. The directions say to use square tiles to make all the rectangles you can that have a perimeter of 12 units. Draw and label the sandboxes, then find the area of each. So sandbox 1, they did for us with that side length, oops, sorry about that. That side length is 1 foot. The bottom is 5 feet. So we have 5. Plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 1 is 12. So we have a perimeter of 12. Here's a little shortcut. If we look at the lengths of the sides, 1 and 5, we add that up, that's 6, right? So 6 is half of our total perimeter, which is 12. And that makes sense because it gets us halfway around the rectangle. Okay, so if we know that our 2 of the side lengths have to add up to 6, and then the other 2 will add up to 6, and then 6 plus 6 is 12. So 1 plus 5 equals 6. Another math problem where 2 numbers add up to 6 is 2 plus 4. So, excuse me, we're going to draw a rectangle that is 2 by 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, of course, we have to finish it off. There's 4 and 2. So if I add up all my side lengths, I have 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 4, which is 10, plus 2, which is 12. So I have a perimeter of 12. Okay, so with that in mind, we have a third sandbox. What are 2 other numbers that add up to 12? Well, we did 6, excuse me. We did 1 and 5, we did 2 and 4. We can also think of 3 plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 feet on all sides. We add up all of those 3's, and that equals 12. Okay. So we drew those sandboxes. Now we're down here. This is sandbox number 1. It was 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 gave us a perimeter of 12 feet. Now the area, we multiplied the 2 side lengths together to find the area. 1 times 5 to find the area. And 1 times 5 is 5. We can also count, just to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That rectangle has an area of 5. It has a perimeter of 12. Now let's take a look at sandbox 2. Has a perimeter of 12. All four sides add up to 12. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Now we'll find the area. And to do that, we multiply the two side lengths. 2 times 4. 2 times 4 equals 8. And we can prove that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that has a perimeter of 12 still, but it has a bigger area. It has 8. Let's look at the last sandbox. Again, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Add up all those 3's. It has a perimeter of 12. To find the area, we multiply two side lengths. 3 times 3. Well, I guess I need to finish off the perimeter side there too. We'll get to that. 3 times 3 is 9. And again, we could check by counting all the boxes inside for the area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So let's finish up the perimeter side. Sandbox 2, we had side lengths 2 and 4. So it was 2 plus 4, that was 6. 2 plus 4, that was 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. And then the last one, it was 3 by 3. So it was 3 plus 3 is 6. And 3 and 3 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Okay. So we can see all three had the same perimeter. All three had the same perimeter, but they had different areas. And we'll figure out, or maybe recognize, which one gives us the bigger area here in a minute. So the area of sandbox blank is greatest, and that was sandbox, oops, sorry about that. We'll get back to the right page. There we go. The area of sandbox 3 had the biggest area. So Toby should build a sandbox that is 3 feet wide and 3 feet long, so he can build the sandbox that has the biggest area. Now let's look at these shapes. The long, skinny sandbox had an area of just 5 square feet. When we had the square, we got 9 square feet. So if you want the most area, when we have to have a certain perimeter, in this case it was 12. If we want the biggest area, we draw a square. If we want the smallest area, we draw a 1 by whatever sandbox or rectangle, and we get the smallest area. So smallest area is a skinny one, the 1 by 1, 1 by whatever, and the biggest area is going to be our square. Let's move to the next page. We'll get there. Told you, I'm not feeling well. Things are a little dicey. Okay. Draw rectangles with the same perimeter, which is what we just did, with different areas. Draw a rectangle that has a perimeter of 20 units and an area of 24. Okay, so if it has an area of 24, that means it's two numbers multiplied together that equal 24. It also means our side lengths, if it's a perimeter of 20, half of 20 is 10. So when I draw my two side lengths, that gets us halfway around. So instead of adding up to 20, these two side lengths right here need to add up to 10. So what are two numbers that add up to 10? 1 and 9. So that's 10. And then the rest of my rectangle would be 10 more. So now I have a perimeter of 20. But I want an area of 24. That means the two numbers I multiply together, 1 times 9, need to equal 24. 1 times 9 doesn't equal 24. So we'll try two other numbers. I did 1 and 9. How about 2 and 8? 2 plus 8 is 10. Plus 10 more is 20. But 2 times 8 to find the area is just 16. So that doesn't work. Let's try two other numbers. Let's go with 3 and 7. That's 10. Plus 10 more. So now I have a perimeter of 20. Multiply the two side lengths to find the area. 3 times 7. Well, that's 21, not 24. But I think I'm getting close. So instead of 3 and 7, let's go with the next number up. Let's try 4 and 6, because that equals 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. Just add up all four sides for my perimeter. That's 20. To find the area, I multiply these two side lengths. 4 times 6, that's 24. Ah, I found it. So now we just have to draw it here. Okay. So 4 by 6 rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just finish off my rectangle. Label the sides. 4 and 6. Okay, the sides of the rectangle measure 4 units and 6 units. Right, we're going to draw a new rectangle. Still a perimeter of 20, but an area of 25 square units. So, again, the perimeter of 20, if I work my way halfway around my rectangle, let's erase the numbers here. Halfway around the rectangle, like this. Here we go. That needs to add up to 10. But when I multiply these two side lengths, they need to multiply and equal 25. I didn't get any of that. But what if we do this? 5 and 5. That's 10. Plus 5 is 15. Plus 5 is 20. I have a perimeter of 20. If I multiply the two side lengths together, 5 times 5, we get 25. Okay. So we're going, on this one, we're going to end up with side lengths of 5 and 5. We'll draw that over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, label our side lengths. 5 and 5, and 5, and 5. Again, my perimeter, I add up all the side lengths. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 10 more, that equals 20. And to find my area, multiply 5 times 5, and we have 25 square units inside this square. Okay, share and show. Let me erase that big line I made somewhat at some point. So my suggestion today for share and show, boys and girls, is to pause the video, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6 on this next page. Once you've done those, start the video again to check your work, and then you can see your answers. So go ahead and pause the video at this time and do your work. Okay, I assumed you paused the video, you did all the work, and now it's time to check your answers. The perimeter of the rectangle at the right is blank units. So the perimeter, let's see, perimeter is 2 here, 1, 2, 3 across, and 2 and 3. So to find the perimeter, I add up those four numbers. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 more. 5 plus 5 is 10. So my perimeter is 10 units. To find the area, I multiply these two sides. 2 times 3, that equals 6. I can also count the squares, and there are 6 of them. So the area is 6 square units. Number 2, draw a rectangle that has the same perimeter as the rectangle in exercise 1, but a different area. So perimeter was 10. So I need to come up with a shape that has a perimeter of 10. So again, if you think about these two sides, they'll add up to 5. And then the other two sides add up to 5. Well, I know 1 plus 4 equals 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1 by 4 That's 5. 1 and 4 is 5 more. That is a perimeter of 10. My area here is 1 times 4, which equals 4. The area of the rectangle in exercise 2 is 4 square units. Which rectangle has the greater area? Well, mine had an area of 4 square units, and the other one had an area of 6 square units. So, which rectangle had the bigger area? Number 1. And question 5. If you were given a rectangle with a certain perimeter, how would you draw it so it has the greatest area? Well, let's go back here, and we talked about that. If we want the greatest area, that's always going to be a shape that is a square. Okay, long and skinny, small area. Square, bigger area. So, how would you draw it? Draw a square. Period. All right, let's look at the last problem. Find the perimeter and area. Tell which rectangle has a greater area. So A, side lengths of 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So the perimeter is 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 more has a perimeter of 8. And I think that's just units. Yes, 8 units. I'm going to abbreviate or I'll run out of space. And then my area, I multiply 2 times 2, and that equals 4. So the area is 4 square units. Rectangle B has side lengths of 1 and 3. That's 4 plus 1 plus 3 is 4 more. So 4 plus 4 is 8. That has a perimeter, sorry about that. That has a perimeter of 8 units still. And the area, to find the area, we multiply the two sides. 1 times 3 equals 3. Has an area of 3 square units. Rectangle blank has a greater area. Rectangle A had an area of 4. Rectangle B has an area of 3. The one that's greater is rectangle A. And we can know that just by looking at it as well. It has the same area. The two shapes have the same area. Rectangle A is a square. It's going to have a bigger area. They have the same perimeter. Did I say area originally? Let me stop. These two have the same perimeter, but because this one is a square, it has a bigger area. That makes more sense. Okay, boys and girls, that's all I got for you today. Work hard, do your best, persevere. As always, this is Mr. P, and I am out.